All right. All right, let's go. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're doing well. I'm back with another stream. It's about 8 o'clock, a little bit after 8, and today has been luckily a very productive one. So I've been handling a lot of other stuff throughout the week, but today I was able to dedicate quite a bit of time to prepping for SuperCon and making my figurines. One of the benefits there is if you checked it out, I was streaming today for like about 6 hours or so, quite a bit, and I was able to design quite a few of them, or at least 3D model them. The design, the concepting happened a bit earlier. So I'm very happy with the results so far. There's a lot left for me to do, of course, but at least for tonight, I want to make a little bit of progress, get at least 2 more done, one couple. That way I can at least feel confident enough that I have enough of a foundation to be able to move forward with 3D printing next week. Now, that being said, I'm still going to try to live stream on Thursday, or maybe, yeah, Thursday. Thursday night, that would be 8 p.m. But I think with this progress being made, things are looking good. Even though there's not a lot of time left, July 18th, SuperCon, super exciting. Yeah, let's get to it. In fact, I was even working before this stream started and was prepping a few other things. For one is 3Difying my logo, having it ready to essentially add on to the bottoms of the different platforms, as well as maybe do some sort of promos or visuals along with it. If I jump on over to Blender, you'll see that I have kind of cropped those ugly parts out. You'll see that I have like my logo here in this 3D version. I was just doing some lighting tests. I think it looks pretty cool. Is it ready? No. For adding to the platforms for the bottom of these different figures, yes, I think so. Oh, my bad. Let me add myself back on. There we go. So I like the way the logo looks in this 3D version. Eventually, I imagine doing all sorts of different kind of motion graphics along with it, distortions, making it feel very cool and expanded upon. But for right now, I think this takes it far enough for what I need. And I have it set up to where I can alter my lighting and probably animate it at some point. Not a priority now, but I think it's good to have this at least prepped and ready for when the time comes. And I treat it as a bit of kind of infrastructure whenever I'm doing any type of, I guess, modeling or graphics or anything related to my brand, my company of Infinite Moons. Again, although I am the artist, however, I want to create that umbrella of Infinite Moons where I can house, any collaborations I do with other artists, the music that I do under the name Moon Fetus in collaboration with Mooney, and any other things that I do, such as also the book that I did with Barreto, called This Book is Full of Shit. It's definitely a fascinating one to take a look at, and hopefully other things along the way. So if you're ever interested or curious, just check out infinitemoons.com to kind of see what I'm talking about. Now, I want to load up my previous reference just to get a better sense as to what the next couplet I should focus on when it comes to these figures. Now, for one, We have a few more options. There's one pair in particular that's weird, but got a lot of interest when I first revealed it on my stream last week. So, if I can get it open through PureRef. Anyone watching through mobile may not be able to see this, unfortunately, because it's not set up in the same way. Actually, no, scratch that. It is. Little by little, prepping things, getting it ready. All right, let's get it up. All right, so, and it's these two down here. These are the weirdest ones, I think, or at least the furthest from the typical design of all the others. So I think it'll be worthwhile modeling these out and seeing just how effective they are alongside all the others. The next ones past that, I think I want to attempt these two. I think these are very fascinating to me. Yeah. So I think this one for today, for tonight, I should say, is going to be my main round, my main focus. And to get a better sense as to what I've been able to accomplish thus far, let's take a look back at Blender. Okay, one sec. All right. Here I have the 3D models I've been able to finish so far. If I were to show it here off to the side, let me bring it down. You can kind of see which ones these are. So over here, top right-hand corner, we get these two buddies. I want to keep it right now just black and white so you can get a better idea. There you go. Let me rotate it over. I think they translated pretty well. I made a couple of adjustments. For one, I dropped down this sort of negative space a little further. This one, I think, actually looks pretty similar, and I'm very happy with the way that turned out. Next, we have this couple. I think they turned out pretty nice, too. I did shift it quite a bit more compared to the original design, so let me shift it over. These two fellas, or ladies, or things, or whatever they are, I probably exaggerated the bellies a little bit too much. I might be dialing that back. I'm not sure yet. This depends a lot on whether or not it conflicts with other designs. So for one, let me lock in. For one, I think it helped differentiate it from the other characters, from the other different designs, especially the neighboring ones. I wanted to make sure that there are different body types for these figures. Not that each one has to be incredibly different, but I want them to vary enough that visually you can tell them apart, at least at a glance. So the belly definitely jets out quite a bit. Different from the design. Whether or not this is a bad thing, I'm not sure. The silhouette from the concept art, I'm probably going to bring back in some way. But maybe in a later character figurine thing. For now, I'm good with this. Next, we have the neighbors, the first two that started this off, which I feel are slightly the roughest. At least some of the surface details I need to kind of clean up a little bit. But these two are these wonderful models right here. Yeah. Which got the unofficial names of Bringle and Schmingle. I like the way they turned out. Although I need to clean it up a little bit. Definitely looking favorable. And just right. And my weirdest of this batch are these two that have these kind of parts that stick out. One from the negative space. Oh, let me eliminate this ground. There you go. One from the negative space. The other one just kind of is a part of it. It's like this weird elongated snail of sorts. I'm going to switch to headphones. Just make it a little bit easier on my end to hear some stuff. So I like this design. Definitely a little bit stranger, but I think favorable as far as branching out with some of the silhouettes, one of the different shapes can be. And to show the concept really quick. There you go. Sorry, forgot to pair it up. So a lot of these I think translated pretty well in 3D. Are they perfect? First time I'm making these particular characters. And given the time limit, I'm trying to get it as far as I can. Now, anyone that knows me, sometimes I could try to be a bit of a perfectionist. So I will spend forever on a particular type of artwork. Oftentimes even revisiting them days, weeks, months, years later and refining it further. But for this particular type of assignment I've placed on myself, I want to work a bit quicker, think a little bit more with regards to not speeding up the process per se, but trying to get good fast, accomplish more at a higher quality within a smaller span of time. Now, of course, it's easier here since these are minimalist designs, so it's not as bad as me going in and doing a full-out detailed painting, where it definitely asks a whole lot more of me as far as time, as far as technique, etc. Now, looking at them like this in gray, you can get excited about it, sure, but it's so much nicer when you can experience it with color, with a better sense of what the materials might be. So I'm going to bring my plane right back just to give it a bit of a surface. Let me hide my pure ref. And let me bring in my lighting. Bam. Let me hide all my UI. So I very much am loving the way these are turning out. Now, there are a few different changes that I need to make. For one, some of these figurines are going to have this blue metallicness to it, predominantly with the darker ones. And some of these do not have those accents applied yet. So for example, this one, it doesn't have any sort of blue metallic incorporated just yet. So I'm probably going to include some sort of little tongue, some sort of, I don't know, piece to go in here that can give that accent. Another one that's also missing it is this little buddy. We have the nice and negative spaces. However, there's nothing that's showcasing that metallic blue that I really want to be incorporated in there. This one, though, the whole head is that metallic blue. So I think it already works as is. So I don't got to stress about that one at all. So take note, of course, these renders or previews, I should say, give me a good feel, a good vibe for what the final result might be. But some things are going to change from digital to physical to RL to real world. So that's dependent on what type of airbrushing I do, the resins I use, the pigments, the dust, the whatever I incorporate into it. That is still a mystery to me. I have, of course, an idea as to how I want to approach this, but how it'll look, still don't know. That is yet to be determined. And that's part of the fun, part of the discovery, part of what gets me to even want to do this is the mystery and the process and the troubleshooting and the failures, successes that come along with it. So, as mentioned, I think it's time to work on those two little weird critters, the more abstract ones. I'll put it back up on stream. And I'm going to open up ZBrush, my preferred 3D sculpting tool. I tried 3D modeling everything through Blender. I know you can 3D sculpt on there, but I tried doing the more traditional route before with these first two characters. And although it works, it takes forever. I prefer ZBrush as my go-to. So I'm going to revisit it and kind of do a back and forth. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If not, let me get lost in this. I will keep the Blender sort of file in the background just as a good visual indicator. Kind of like doing this now, where I just line them up. Let them be seen. That way, at a glance, I know I can reference back and forth. Now, hopefully my computer doesn't get overwhelmed. Having two 3D softwares running simultaneously can be a little intensive on the GPU. And before I begin, of course, I gotta put on my handy dandy glove. Shout out to Blue's Clues. And the quickest method, at least for these minimalist designs that I've been liking, is starting off with Z-spheres. A bit of symmetry. All right, so both of these are pretty, well, not pretty different, but they're kind of different in some sense. So I'm going to start off with the one on the right. I think that one would be a little bit easier to create the initial shapes. And I'll do a merger at the end when I combine them all. Let me see. I want to give some good volume to the bottom. And slides to the sides. Now, for those of you that have never used Z-spheres, they are super cool in that they're very versatile. You can kind of shift things around very easily. Now I'm imagining these have like a forward kind of lean, like they're kind of pushing forward, rotating out. Very outstretched spine, I'm imagining. So let me put another point in the middle. Yep. Then we need some upper pieces. This one in particular has three different I guess sun rays that are kind of spiking upwards. Now, one thing that I can pay attention to is the volumes. Volumes are not going to translate well in this case. It's not what it's about. It's more about joints, positioning of elements. So I don't have to stress out just yet about those volumes. That'll come later. Now, let me make sure my proportions are looking good. These are definitely supposed to be higher up. About the same height, I would say. Yeah. Now, angling, that I haven't figured out yet. I guess back and forward would make the most sense. It'll make more sense what I'm talking about once I shift into volumes. So this looks kind of weird, kind of funky, a little like a cybernetic robot of sorts, but it'll start to make sense in a moment. So going to do a preview. That's looking funky. All right, so there is some sort of error here. So what I was hoping for, I think maybe since these are too large. Yeah, it's a little too much. Drop the density. All right, so there's some sort of glitch there. I think since there are two spheres that were too large side by side, just kind of made it freak out. That's fine. I'm gonna just commit to it. Shift on over to this. I'm now going to go into Dynamesh mode. And let me just start kind of fixing this up a little bit. Smooth things out. Add some volume wherever I need it. Again, quick, loose. Not too stressed out about it looking perfect. Just trying to get the general gist of things. I know the arms are sticking out a lot, but I'll be able to move those in. Let me shift to different matte cap. So it looks at least like it matches a little bit more with the aesthetic of this stream. And also it helps me see a little bit better. I'm not too big a fan of the red clay. There, just trying to fix that out. So general volumes are still looking good. Smoothing out all these polygons. I'm sure there's another way to avoid that, but we're good. All right, now I want to start moving things around. The front, way too far forward. Smooth that out. Legs. It feels like he's kind of like a potato sack of sorts. So it's like he's drooping down and then just has those two little corners popping out to the sides. It's like a Mr. Potato Sack. Type of body. Round out the bottom. Smooth out the hips. I feel like the top of the head might be a little more boxed. The overall body seems to be much more even rectangular of sorts. Again, we have that potato sack physique everyone looks for. Try to straighten these out a little bit. All right, we're making some progress. Actually, we're working pretty fast. It's looking good. Not a lot of time has passed, and we got quite a bit done already. All right, so I always like to extend out the belly. I think it's funny, it's cute, and it's realistic. Maybe it's me being overweight and projecting that onto my designs. They say the artist leaves a part of themselves in everything they make. Switch to the damn standard. Carve out around here just to accentuate the legs. A separation of the, I guess, fat area. So one thing I'm doing with all of them is, of course, adding in a little booty. This one could be small. Pressed in. A little dimple. I worry about how slim these are. I do want to add a bit more thickness. This is mainly for structural stability. I really like the curved sort of flames kind of look. Remember, these are supposed to be sun rays of sorts. So I want to make sure that they appear as such. I know not yet. But now it's just very blobby like snakes at the top. So let me see if I can define the rays a little bit more. So in the sketch, they kind of appear like arrows. So I could go that route. I don't mind the arrows. I think it can work. Again, sun rays. Think when you were a kid, whenever you draw sun rays, it would just be lines kind of sticking out from a little tiny smiley circular face. I do want it to appear to be somewhat crown-like as well. A lot of crowns in general historically were inspired by the sun and sun rays. But there's a lot of motifs related to that of solar sort of connections there. Let's see. So, not opposed to that. Crown-like shape. Okay. Looking cool. Needs to be refined. Looking cool. I kind of like the insides sinking in. Then the individual rays kind of sticking outwards. Now, I mentioned it before, when it comes to the visual language, one side needs to be more rounded while the other one is more structural and hard-edged. However, they each incorporate a bit of those kind of opposites even within each other. So I think we move really fast here. I think I'm already going to start committing to this general shape. And I'm going to do some retopologizing or a Z remesher. Get the polygons looking a little bit cleaner. Wonder if that's too much belly. Might be too much belly. That might be. For sure, it's too much belly. Okay, let me keep looking at the original concept. I don't want to stray away too far. Okay, the legs seem to be rounding upwards at the top, so I like that look. I want to keep that going. Fix my buildup back here. Okay. Flatten this out. Flatten this out. All right, let's do a Z remesher. Well, actually, before I do that, gotta save. Happened to me earlier today, but one of my designs, my models ended up crashing at a pivotal moment. Just lost it. So I don't want that to happen. I don't have a name for this one. It looks like an alien, so I'm going with alien for now. If anyone has any suggestions for some placeholders, let me know and I'll incorporate it. All right, let me go in and start flattening out some of these pieces. Alan. All right, we got Alan. If this one's gonna be Alan, then we need a name for the second one that kind of rhymes because they're a pair. They come together. Also, shout out to you, Jammed Outs. Passing through all day. It's been a lengthy one. I'm gonna flatten out these spaces. Oh wait, hold up. Let me Z remesh really quick. After, oh, I'll have to find some pieces first. All right, looking good. All right, it's much better. Now Z remesher. Colin, hey, nice. Alan and Colin. Yeah, those fit pretty nicely actually. That could easily be a set of brothers. Alan and Colin. It's funny, I've never heard those names paired together before, but they feel right. They feel right. All right, got the Z remesher done. Let's divide up a couple times just to see how's the surface looking like. Worry it might be giving too much of a hard edge. Okay, good flow. Now it's never gonna feel right till we see their eyes. All right, let's add some spheres in here. All right, does this seem right? About there. No, I think it was lower down. His eyes are pretty far apart. All right, let's duplicate. Okay. Wow. All right. It seems to be matching up pretty well with the original design. You have to flatten out the bottom because this one's just simply sitting directly. Cool. Now to get that final little squiggle wiggle thingy, that's mainly the separation, similar to other designs in the back, like the anteater left hand side with the gold top. I'll essentially be isolating that out. I'm a little worried. This one felt like maybe went by too fast. Are there means that the methods are working, or something's being lost? Yeah, up. It's like whenever something's going too well, you think something ominous is happening, something ominous is afoot. All right, let me clean up these edges. All right, so in the original, I do notice that there is a bit more of a dip at the top. I should probably respect that and keep that going a little bit more. Yeah, so let me sink it in. Okay, yeah, so that's closer to the original. Yeah, that dip does help with defining things a little bit more, just provide more intrigue. Kind of like the rounded out bit there. Yeah, that's way cooler. Okay, in the original design, from what I see, this top is actually a lot higher up. So let's try moving it up. Is that too much? Feels like too much. Maybe around there or so. Before, after. No, I liked it before. All right, we're scrapping that. So a lot of character design is also, aside from working with silhouettes, making sure the silhouettes translate well, is getting proportions that are interesting and unique. Now, I myself have never come across a character like this. It could be out there. Alan here could have a long-lost cousin that I'm unaware of that exists in some other franchise. I am getting a little bit of Pikmin vibes with this, actually. But hopefully this is still unique enough to stand out on its own, especially amongst the other designs. Because some of the other ones that I have, I can see being a bit more, I guess, generic or universal. Which I don't mind, since these are literally inspired by the universe. Universal's kind of not a bad thing. And I do want people to be able to like connect with these little characters, resonate with them. So at the end of the day, I want them to be, you know, little friends and you invite into your home. You can keep beside you on your desk, on a shelf, whether at home or at work, to hopefully bring about some good luck and creativity. And these are inspired by suns, stars, and I'm exaggerating that type of symbolism of when you have a bright idea, get a bright light bulb that turns on above your head. What if that idea is so great that it illuminates with the power of a sun or 1,000? Sounds like an idea that could change the world. Or at the very least, it'd just be cool to kind of share with the world. All right, so I saved Alan out. I'm going to create a duplicate to save just in case, because I want to have a default template body to work for Colin, so I can develop that. And now I'm going to divide up that top piece so I can get that little curving smile shape. one sec. I think I'm gonna do a simple Instagram live stream just for like a few minutes. Funnel a couple people over here. Notice people don't like really watching live streams on Instagram. At least not for a long period of time. It's pretty uncomfortable. I'm not a fan myself. But Twitch, YouTube, I think that's where it's at. All right. All right, Mike. Shit. All right, perfect. All right, so this one seems to be working out pretty well. All right, I like the transitions here. I want to shift over to this end. Again, start masking off. Can't lose the symmetry. Very important. Curve around here. All right, so does that match up with the design? I think so. Seems to look pretty good in comparison. Maybe it's dipping downwards a little too much. Maybe the curvature is matching too much of the arm. But it has to. I think I'm going to raise the eyes up a little bit more just to kind of match that out. For those of you on Instagram, mainly doing this live stream, just to let you all know that I'm live on Twitch, on YouTube, so you can come on through so you can get a better view as to what I'm doing. Because right here, it's not the same. Right now, it's what's on the display is a mystery. It's all hidden from you. There, that seems to be matching up pretty well. Like the little dip kind of curve there. I think that works out pretty nicely. All right, now here's where some of the magic happens. It's so helpful with ZBrush. I just go on over, switch on over to my poly groups, mask. get one of my favorite tools now, which is the smooth groups. Oh, where are you? All right, smooth groups. Clean up my edges. All right, that's looking clean. Ish. That's literally isolated. All right, now that I can separate them out, perfect. All right, let's duplicate it one more. Let's do some divisions. Open this guy, delete hidden, close holes. Oh, sorry, I got multi-level divisions. All right, close that off. Next shape. All right, there you go. Much better. Now we have the bottom isolated, top isolated. Let's see, did this one pan out right? Yeah, that's good. So it's officially separate. And is it done though? Not sure. Or is it 80%? I think the only way to find out. Oh, no. Let me clean up this edge. I'll export it out and add it to the roster with the others. Save it really quick. Allen version 3. And a... Where am I? Lost. Where's my exporter? FBS. Export visible. Got it. All right, Allen. Sweet. Done. All right, now we work on Colin. For that, I'm going to go back to Z Remesher. And we want to merge all this stuff. So it's going to look nasty in a moment. I'm just going to inflate like crazy all the stuff here. I don't know if there's another smarter way, but this gets the job done. Just flattening this weird blob of a thing. Looks disgusting. All right, that was fast. Adhesive top piece. Looking super weird. Do I want it to have this type of shape? I mean, maybe. I'm not mad at it. It does have a more interesting silhouette like this. Might bend it more. Okay. Then the arms are kind of like merged into the body in a weird way. Making, yeah, kind of like a cup handle type of effect. Legs are very similar. However, we don't have as much of that front gut, which means I'm assuming I could make this design more flattened out here. See, Colin's been hitting the gym. Colin's been losing weight. Colin's doing much, much better as far as his health. And I'm guessing that's what's going to determine that curved line from the design. It'll be a change of planes. Which, yeah, I like that. Go Colin. Want that shape continuing out. Let's flatten out this end too. Yeah, let's get that transition. All right, looking cool, looking clean ish. Flat butt effect. Flatten out those shoulders. I want to create more of a swooping effect, so I want to flatten out the bottom here. And I'm trying to think of these as even like columns or buildings. How will it stand? If it were to be a huge structure, the size of like a full-on statue, would it look good? Not to say that this will ever be a towering figure, even though that would be cool. Yeah, he's a funky looking guy. Okay, that seems to be translating well. Again, looks funny. Looks a little weird. Colin, you do you. It would be nice if this transition from the arm to the leg, like that angle matched up a little bit more. It's a subtle thing, but and I want to imagine this like a swooping current. Does it feel like it's transitioning in? Tough because it's quite a bit of a plane change. Thinking, what if I raise it up? Yeah, because again, these shapes from multiple angles. Sometimes it looks good, other times it just feels really off. Okay, that's good. Flatten out on this side. Give a nice little beveled edge. Self-enclosed. All right, that's looking cool. I like that. Again, very geometric. Okay. Now, the main thing that Colin requires for his design to look just right is, of course, those little slices in the middle. So to me, I visualize that as kind of like a cone stretched out in pill form, just shooting all the way through. So first, let me make sure I save Colin. I can't afford to lose him. He means too much already. All right, Colin, that's a pinned cone. And this is what makes sense to me. Oops. Now, the reason why I said a cone is because there should be a tapering. Yeah, already getting. I was aiming for Is that too low? I think we'll see. Slice all the way through on a downwards angle. Like that looks good. Switch to Dynamesh. Smooth this out. Okay, it doesn't seem like much right now, but once we start the Boolean, and bam. All right, it's not as large as I was hoping. Let me exaggerate it further. There you go. Is it too much? Not enough? Smooth out these edges. All right, that's cool. I like it. I'm digging it. If I had to refine anything, personally, I guess maybe sharpening up the elbows here ever so slightly. Nah, let me bring this back to. I know this one's named Colin, but it has a strong kind of feminine vibe to this one. Should I define this edge? Yeah, I think it looks good. Now in the original, it feels like it's more straight up, but I like this slight little indentation inwards. So I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep that. Smooth out this plane change. A little too intense right now. Yeah, that's looking nice. All right, let me do a Z remesher. Well, sorry, a save first. Gotta protect Colin. Okay, now Z remesher. My polygons. Okay, not bad. Can be refined. Divide and conquer. Where's my pinch tool? All right, clean looking edges. Arm's still a little on the rough side. I gotta refine that further. So this is one of those designs that to me, I really like because it's complex in the sense of there are a lot of kind of swirling and planes, positions to it. It's not complicated in the sense of a lot of details, but these surfaces are doing a lot of interesting things, in my opinion. That if this were, again, to be like a building architecturally, I think would be fascinating to see. Okay, I think that works. Find that edge. And the most important edge to define this guy is what appears kind of like a mouth. Or this could be the mouth, the screaming portion. Both work. That's cool. Oh, that's hot. Yeah, I like that. I'm happy with Colin. Good job, Colin. All right, I'm paranoid. I'm going to do another save. He's ending up to be one of my favorites. All right, I'm going to now commit to my Boolean. In other words, remove, like commit to that cone cutout. Re-import in. I'm going to delete last ones. Don't need them anymore. And let's do an export. So we have Colin saved out. All right, file exported. Nice. All right, back to our friends here. And let's import our new ones. Alan, meet everyone else. Now scale relative to the others. I feel like Alan shouldn't be as tall. Yeah, Alan feels like a little fella. Let me add him over here. medium. No, I think that's a good size. Feels about right. Add in my materials. All right, looking good. Loving the rim light design. All right, let's bring in your other half. All right, import my boy Colin, my girl Colin. All right, I want to match up sizing roughly. Did I shrink down the top that much? No. Hold up, let me put overlay. Okay, that feels somewhat balanced. But my mess up is I forgot to incorporate, again, some sort of metallic element. Silly me. All right. I'll have to come back to him at a later date. I guess I could do it now. Bam. Alan and Colin. Dynamic duo added to the rest of the team. Look at that roster. Building up little by little. All right, I'm definitely liking this. Okay. So it's been a long day. I just wanted to make sure that I could knock out at least 2 more before calling it. So thankfully, we got another 2 down today. Again, it's been a very long one. I think I've streamed easily about 7 hours, 8 hours, something along those lines. So now to have these 2 alongside all the others, it's a great feeling. Given that I have so much to do, say around 8 hours, really? Man, you're probably right. That's good. They're productive ones. So I'm gonna do a quick little lineup. One last one. Yeah. And save that out. Awesome. So at least this one was a short one relative to the other, but we made progress. 2 new ones included. Got 7, 8, 9, 10 figures already finished, or at least at that 90%, because I still gotta, refine them a little bit further, just for finalization, adding ways to kind of connect the pieces together and some of the metallic parts. But 10 out of what I was aiming for 14 minimum. I think we're finish line is pretty much almost there. And knowing me, I'm probably gonna be like, hey, why not add another 6? Why not? We'll see. I'll do another live stream, I believe on Thursday, 8 p.m. same time. We'll handle another 2 as I kind of plan out the next steps of things. And then next week, I may not be able to stream the resin prints, but I'll try to at least do some social media post or something of that on IG. Whatever I do stream will probably be other preparation things, and probably the larger model, the big one, which I'm really excited about but more talks on that on Thursday. So yet another thank you. Jammed out. You're awesome. Have a great night. Sleep well. And hopefully I'll see you on Thursday. If not, sooner. Some other point. We'll see. Thanks for watching.